Good afternoon, good morning, whatever time of day it is. You're watching Clackscene, ladies and gentlemen. I have some special guests in the couch with me today. I have marvellous Mr McGhie. Hello, Mr McGhie.
Good morning, Mr Jewell. Good to be here.
Great to have you. We've got Mr McCracken. Hello, Mr McCracken.
Good morning.
The U15s manager. That's the way we have to say it these days. The U15s manager, the way it was read out in Tannoy. Fantastic. Oh, you've got a microphone. Sorry, and we've got Mr Monaghan here, potential probationer Hall of Famer. Hello, Mr Monaghan. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you,
So,
Mr.
ladies and
Jewell.
gentlemen, we're first going to go to our guest on the couch, Mr McGhie, or marvellous Mr McGhie, as we like to call him. He is the staff football manager for the team, and he's here to report on how the staff have been doing on Friday night football versus our old enemy, Lawrence Hill.
Well, I have to say, Mr Jewell, that your commitment this year has been excellent in terms of the staff football team. I wish I could say the same for two colleagues on either side. Mr Monaghan, looking for to be a Hall of Famer, but quite frankly, his commitment has been dire. There have been various excuses. I mean, perfectly reasonable excuses about not coming to football. Things like, for example, he's got a burst couch. He was visiting the bank manager. But you have to say that in general terms, if we're looking at the school football team, we've had a few injuries, myself included, in playing a manager. But we've done.
How's the injury, Mr?
It's healing up nicely, actually. Thanks very much. Yeah. But
it was a knee injury, am I correct?
Knee injury, yes.
And then potentially a hip injury as well.
Potentially a hip
and
injury
also
too,
potentially a calf strain as well.
It's
so a whole reconstruction on the right hand side, Mr McGhie, is that correct?
I think yes.
Oh dear, that's not good news.
Yeah. Basically, it's old age.
It's old age.
It's old age, yes. And so we're looking at a prosthetic leg on that side, but I should be back in 3 weeks.
On the fact of old age, Mr McGhie, I'd just like to note to the Clackscene fans, I've changed my position slightly on the couch this week, and this is due to feedback from the fans, because it's important that we take the feedback from the fans listening and watching Clackscene. That apparently my positioning last week in the couch, in between the two younger members of the team, showed off the fact I was balding a little bit too much and my old age. So that's why I'm sitting beside you, Mr McGhie. Hopefully just that we can balance things out a bit.
Yes,
and hopefully the fans will be happy with that. So Mr McGhie, any fantastic goals to report back about?
Well, I was reading, unfortunately last week I was at the physio when we were beating Lawrence Hill again last week. But I did read Chris McLaughlin's match report last week, and I have it here on my phone. And Chris got very excited, I think, reading his report, and actually I think he was censored by the BBC for some of his reporting of this. But basically, it was involved. Would you like me to read out
that'd be fantastic.
extracts of this report?
The viewers would love to hear
to set the context
goal.
for this. I'll say the context for this. So it's 5:45. It's the next goal's the winner. And
against Lawrence
Hill, and it's a home game. We don't get many home games against Lawrence Hill.
No, we don't.
They don't like playing up here because they don't get the wind and they don't get the sun. So anyway, I'll read what Chris was saying. And Chris, I think he's a wee bit partial towards Alloa, but viewers can judge that for themselves.
Read into what you will.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's next goal the winner, and there's a corner kick, right? So there was a corner kick. Modern studies, like Ross, now
the other half we like to call him on the couch.
Yeah,
Yep.
Or otherwise known as the good Ross.
The good Ross, yeah. The one that turns up.
The one that turns up and can play, right? Takes the corner and absolutely lashes it. I'm quoting here, right? Absolutely lashes it.
Rifled.
No, is it Chris?
Lashes,
yeah.
Okay.
Right. It was only a small pitch, no more than 15 yards from the corner of the goal post. And he absolutely leathered the corner. The pace on the ball was like a yawn shot that hit Murdo MacLeod and about the same distance. Now, for younger viewers, Murdo MacLeod was a former Scotland player who got knocked out by a Brazilian with hitting with a free kick, which hit him square in the coupon.
Brasil, Barreira está próxima demais. Derrubou, meteu o escocês no chão, bem feito para ele, quem mandou ficar menos de 9 metros e 15. Tem que parar não, lá vai Brasil. O Dunga mete para fora, para que seja atendido. Uma atitude de iniciativa do Dunga. Agora, Arnaldo César Coelho. Se o juiz tivesse colocado a barreira na posição correta, talvez esse escocês aí não tomasse essa bolada violenta na cobrança do branco.
Isso daí foi mais que uma bolada, isso foi nocaute.
Archie McPherson said, took one in the coupon at 100 mile an hour. Oof, he said.
He
Yes,
did,
he
yes,
did say that.
yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Murdo's had face reconstruction
Correct, yes,
surgery.
I know Murdo
Yeah.
well. It's a nightmare scenario for him. He wakes up in the middle of the night about it.
Anyway, Chris goes on to say that at the front post there was Mr. Brace, and the ball went past his head like a drone strike. I think it was like, right. Right. Yes, like a drone strike. Right. He didn't have time to move his head. He just let out an exclamation of fear as the ball went past him. Right. Anyway, the ball then ricocheted off Mr. Barnes' ear and flew into the net at a rate of knots. Had it not gone into the net, it would have gone to Alva.
That's it. And to be fair, I did see it. Mr. Barnes was off the ground at the time. He had to jump as well.
He had to jump.
He did.
I've seen Mr. Barnes jump.
Well, he got off the ground by about maybe 3/4 of an inch or so. It was a good jump for him.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yes, aye.
Anyway, Mr. Barnes, for those viewers who are wondering, Mr. Barnes is fully recovered. He's got all the pellets out of his ear.
Yep.
He got the last one out yesterday with tweezers, so he's much better now. But
That's
he was a hero.
That's
a hero. That kind of level of commitment is the kind of commitment that we have to have at Alloa Academy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I witnessed it. It was some goal, and it was a perfect way to put the Lawrenceville staff team to the sword. It was a fantastic finish to the game. Now, Mr. McGhie, of course.
Can I just say to Mr. Monaghan, does this kind of description of the heroics make you any more inclined to actually turn up for a game?
It's almost got me convinced, I'm not going to lie, but I might need something else to guarantee my commitment.
Are you making it tonight, Mr. Monaghan?
Unfortunately not. I think I might have tonsillitis tonight. I'm very sorry about that.
Fortunately, he's missing it for us. Anyway, moving on. Mr. McCracken, are you making it tonight?
No, I'm going to the big Scottish Cup game, Lithgow Rose versus Falkirk. Won the Rose.
That is an acceptable excuse, I think.
I think that's reasonable, yes, considering
excuse,
pal of yours is manager of Lithgow Rose, is that right?
Captain
of Lithgow Rose, right.
Fantastic. Captain of
I don't know
Rose.
what's the more amazing, that he's captain of Lithgow Rose or you've got a pal.
Both, Mr. McGhie, both. Can we move on to the Beat the Pupil Challenge this week?
Oh yes,
I love Beat the Pupil Challenge, and we have the pupil this week is Kevin Brown from the under-15s team. Kevin is your centre half, is that correct, Mr. McCracken?
centre half and captain.
Centre half and captain. So. And I don't think he's your pal either. He doesn't really like you very much, and we have a report in the show later on to potentially prove that. Anyway, so moving on, the games this week that the Beat the Pupil predictor will be on are obviously our SPFL games, which are Celtic versus Livingston, Hibs versus Motherwell, Kelly versus Hearts, St Mirren versus Ross County, and Hamilton versus Rangers. Also, we have Elgin City versus Alloa. We're going to put Alloa in there just because we are on Clackscene. So the people and the two managers, Mr. McGhie and the director of the football, Mr. Barnes, have given their predictions. So, Mr. McGhie, am I correct in saying you're going for Celtic Livy? You're going for a home win?
I'm going for a home win there. It'll be tough for Celtic, but I predict 2-0 for Celtic.
Okay. Hibs Motherwell, you're going for a draw, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm thinking that Hibs are new manager. Jack Ross has come in there at Hibs. He'll give the club a lift, but they've still got a way to go. They're still a bit disjointed as a team, but I see a draw for them.
Okay, Kelly v Hearts.
Hearts still haven't appointed a manager. Kilmarnock playing on their own plastic pitch. Hearts don't like plastic pitches. I'm going Kilmarnock.
Hearts, home win there. St Mirren, Ross County.
I think St Mirren really need to win this one. This is bottom of the table clash. It'll be a tight game. 2-1 St Mirren, I'm saying.
Okay, home win there. Hamilton versus Rangers.
Unfortunately, I think given the referee that's going to be appointed on Sunday, and the fact that they're playing at Hamilton, and I think it'll be an away win for that one.
That's a away win, but no conspiracy theories.
No
please on the show. Thank you, Mr McGhie.
No conspiracy theories.
Just away win, home win or draw.
I think Rangers will win.
Mr. McGhie.
Rangers will win despite the referee.
We've got to remain partial on the show. Thank you very much. And Alloa away to Elgin City.
Tough one for Alloa. Elgin's a difficult place to go. Weather forecast for this weekend up there, it's going to be cold, it's going to be windy. Tough game for Alloa, but I predict a score draw.
And the Alloa players don't like going away from the hot climate here in
No, in
Aloha,
yes, yep.
I've been dying to get that in the show. Fantastic, and we've gone for Mr. Barnes has gone for a home win in the Celtic Liverpool game. Celtic Liverpool, they gone down to the Premiership yet? The Celtic Livy game. He's gone for a draw in the Hibs Motherwell game. Kelly Hearts, he's gone for a home win. St Mirren Ross County, he's gone for a draw. Hamilton Rangers, he's gone for an away win, and Alloa away to Elgin City, he's gone for an away win. Kevin has gone quite close to you guys. He's gone for home win for Celtic. He's gone home win for Hibs Motherwell. Home win for Kelly Hearts. Away win for St Mirren Ross County. Away win for Hamilton Rangers. And he's gone for a away win for Elgin City versus Alloa. So it'll be interesting, ladies and gentlemen, next week to see if, in fact, Mr. Marvellous Mr. McGhie or Jose Carlos Rodrigo Barnes has managed to beat the people. So one more question to the couch. Scotland's draw for the playoffs. So what do you think, couch? Scotland's draw for the playoffs is happening today. Mr. McCracken, who would you prefer? Hungary, Israel, Romania or Bulgaria?
I think Hungary give us our best chance.
Hungry for Mr. McCracken. He is always hungry. But anyway, moving on to Mr. McGhie.
I'd love to be playing England, but I think I'll take Israel.
Israel. Mr. Monaghan.
And I think I'm going to agree with Mr. McCracken and go with Hungary.
Okay, well, I'm just going to go totally different to everyone, as I always do. I'm going to go for Romania because they are awful. Anyway, moving on. Now we're going to update.
Apologies to any Romanians who are watching this today.
Their football's awful. That's what I meant, Mr. McGhie. So moving on to updates and news announcements for the school sport. I'll give a very quick one. We have on Thursday the 28th from 9:30 to 3:30 at Alva Academy, we have the Clackmannanshire Badminton Championships. All pupils that have signed up to that, can you please be aware that that is on the in-service day. You're not in school, you are at Alva Academy playing badminton on Thursday the 28th of November. Please get involved. We won this last year, guys. Let's do it again. Moving on to go Alloa. Moving on to Mr. McCracken. Mr. McCracken, how have results gone for you this week?
Results were slightly better. We had a fixture last night against Labert High. Unfortunately, ended in defeat. One of our star players, however, was missing. She was away to sign for Celtic, which is excellent.
Congratulations to Tia Hine for signing for Celtic. Probably one of the greatest clubs in the world, let alone Scotland.
Yep, so congratulations to Tia. Coaching under 15s is always interesting. Last week we had the two boys who lost their football boots. This week, in a vote of confidence, I'm only guessing to our director of football, Jose Barnes. Half the squad went out and shaved their heads to give themselves a haircut similar to Mr. Barnes. So that was an interesting build up to the game. Unfortunately, it made no difference to our performances. We still failed to score any goals. Was the shaving? I thought the shaving of the hair was in tribute to Mr. Collins being demoted to co-bus driver. Could have been. It could have been to Mr. Collins. It could have been to Mr. Barnes. It could have been to yourself, Mr. Jewell, as the host of Clackscene. Who knows? But they've all got.
Well, I did get quite a bit of poor feedback from fans about my hair last week and the lack of it, which was a bit unfair. I felt I'm only here to broadcast. I don't think people should be picking on me for my haircut.
I think it must have been you, Mr. Jewell, because if the boys had been tuned tribute to Mr. Barnes, they'd have been putting pellets in their ears. And I take it the boys didn't put pellets in their ears.
No, I don't think there was any pellets in their ears. And certainly I don't think
have been in tribute
I
to
don't
Mr.
think
Barnes
they've got the access to sunbeds that Mr. Barnes has either.
Well, I couldn't possibly.
Yeah.
I don't think actually that's fair comment. I think he's got a share which, like, sort of helps colour him up in the morning.
Yes, yeah, but gives him a good
glow.
complexion, a nice glow.
A nice
Mr.
glow.
Monaghan. So moving on to yourself, how has the football been going for you this week? How have you done with the results?
Well, we've unfortunately had another not so ideal result, but the lads played really, really well. We're getting beat 3-0 at half time, which seems to be a common theme for the U14 team. And the boys brought it back to 3-3 and about 15 minutes after half time, and then unfortunately we lost one more goal and lost the game 4-3, the same as the Scottish Cup game.
And did somebody tell you about this, or were you actually there?
It was my other half that informed me, because I had to deal with another couch issue actually.
Very good question, Mr. McGhie. You should be on the couch more often. So, Mr. Monaghan, there has been some rumours coming back from the team about potential lack of ideas and the way that you change up things after coming back into a game. I will quote one of your one of your players saying that the management team seem bereft of ideas. What would you say to that?
I'm inclined to agree, to be honest with you, Mr. Jewell.
Oh no,
We've lost the plot. We don't know what to do when we're going 3-0 down.
No, you do know what to do when you're 3-0 down. It's when you
we
get back to
the
3-all.
It's the 3-all, and
Yes.
then we just don't know what to do.
Well, maybe the support from
if
Mr.
any-
McCracken, because he knows
Yeah.
how to win a game. Well, no, sorry, he knows how to lose a game flamboyantly
Yes.
once he gets back into it. So that would be probably better than just losing on an average kind of 4-3. You better lose 6-3. You know,
Just better
throw the kitchen
go for
sink
it.
at it, Mr.
Why
Monaghan.
not?
I thank everyone on the couch today, all my guests. I thank you all for viewing and watching Clackscene, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, from me, stay classy, everyone.